So Oliveira's just been murdered at UFC 317, and now I'm having to predict UFC Fight Night Lewis versus Teixeira Teixeira. I know, what a life, what a card. But let's just get straight into the predictions of this card, because it is a bit average, you know what I mean? Couldn't have given us like one extra good fight, but you know, it's a fight night. I'm not expecting shit unless we're in Abu Dhabi. So, main event, Derek Lewis, Teixeira Teixeira. I do think Teixeira Teixeira could be something in the future. I ain't gonna deny that. I do think he could be something. And Derek Lewis, he's just Derek Lewis, isn't he? There's nothing really to say. He looked better in his last fight against what's that guy called? Nascimento. He did look improved in that fight, but like at the same time, it's heavyweight. It's easy to look improved against a fat heavyweight. You know what I mean? You know. And Teixeira Teixeira, he's just brawls, doesn't he? So it's gonna be a brawl. Derek Lewis's bread and butter is a brawl, but I feel like Teixeira Teixeira is a slightly more fighter, slightly more technical. Like, he has his sloppy takedowns, but he'll get into the pocket and relieve his chin. His defense is slightly better than anyone else Derek Lewis has fought, other than the really top level guys he has fought. So it's really a 50-50, but you'll see like the 8-0 of Teixeira Teixeira, and you'd be like, oh, this guy's going to be a prospect in the division. He could be if they're building him up properly. He's only 24, I believe. So he could be something in the future. But at the moment, they are kind of... After Derek Lewis, they're going to start rushing him into like the top 5 and that. And it's not going to go well for him. So I'm going to go with Teixeira Teixeira with a first round knockout. He's knocked everyone out in the first round. I don't think Derek Lewis is going to be any different. But fuck me, this is literally just like who will get caught first. Realistically, I'm thinking it might be Derek Lewis, because it might be a brawl. But Teixeira Teixeira does have pretty decent defense for a heavyweight. You know, it's no Tom Aspinall, but it's decent, you know. So I'm going to go with Teixeira Teixeira, but yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. This is a 50-50. I'd edge it towards Teixeira Teixeira. I could see him getting caught in the pocket, though. He tries to do a shoulder roll, but he doesn't do the shoulder roll properly. So, yeah. Anyway, moving on to the co-main event. Wonderboy Thompson versus Gabriel Bonfirm. I'm going to be honest. I've seen Stephen Wonderboy Thompson get grapple fucked a million times in his career. I've seen him get grappled to death in his career. I don't care if they're the top level guys in the division. I've seen him get completely mauled by grapplers, right? And you're taking on a base grappler. A really good, I'm not going to say elite, I'm not Joe Rogan, every time you see someone do a fucking Grammy roll or something, he's an elite striker. He's just not, is he? But I'm going to go with Gabriel Bonfirm. Gabriel Bonfirm is a grappler. Wonderboy Thompson cannot grapple. I've seen him get grappled too many times for me to be like, he's going to win. He's not. He's not, and he could win. I've seen Gabriel Bonfirm quit to strikes against Nicholas Soyboy Talby. You know what I mean? He could survive the first couple of rounds and then like beat up Nicholas why is he back? Gabriel Bonfirm. But I just don't see it. I just see him getting grapple fucked. That's what I think. So I'm gonna go with Gabriel Bonfirm via. I don't know what I'm going to go via. With this fight, it's a guaranteed TKO. With this one, I'm thinking decision, but I know Gabriel Bonfirm's a finisher too, so it could be either way. So, either decision, a dominant decision, or, you know, a submission. You know, I don't see anything particularly, like, off the top of my head, something that Wonderboy gives up quite a bit, you know, he just doesn't do that. So yeah, moving on. Calvin Kattar versus Steven Garcia. Right, I'm at the point now with fighters where it's like the fighter who should lose should technically will win. The fighter that technically should lose will win, and this is one of those matchups. But it's different because Calvin Kattar has just not looked the same. At least with like Usman, like his wrestling still looked the same. His striking was sloppy. It always has been sloppy, but it looked even sloppier, right? Calvin Kattar looks like he's getting worse and worse with every fight, and I think he's just showing up for a paycheck at this point. And like we all like Calvin Kattar, you know, he gave us that war against Max Holloway, but it just there's just something I don't know. I know he got tap danced around by Yusuf Zalal, ran away from him. Was it 5 rounds or was it 3 rounds? I can't remember, but I remember Yusuf Zalal tapping inside kicks and a jab and running away. The Moroccan Devil is his nickname, by the way. Moroccan Devil that runs away. Yeah, this is what I mean. Like, if you have a nickname, it's got to relate to your fighting style. You know, maybe like the ballerina. You know what I mean, or a little fairy or something. Maybe that'll be better. But yeah, Calvin Kattar is being just. He's never actually been finished, but I've got a feeling with Garcia, I think he's got like all first round finishes, which is just crazy to me. I don't think it's this guy actually. Was it this guy? You know what? I'm gonna check because I remember this guy. I swear. I swear. He's the guy with all the first round finishes. Yeah. So he's got all finishes, not first round finishes. It's all first, second finishes. He's been to a decision 1 time, 2 times. One in Bellator, which that could be saying something. Yeah, but I'm gonna go with Steven Garcia. Yeah, I think he's really good, to be honest. I always thought he was good, to be honest. But yeah, Calvin Kattar, he's on a down low. I think he's just showing up for paychecks now. I don't think he actually like has a desire to be a champion anymore. While Steven Garcia is still making his, probably like 10 for 10, 12 for 12 paycheck. He needs to make the money and get a win bonus. Hopefully, you know, he still wants all that type of stuff. So yeah, I'm going with Garcia. Moving on to the next fight, Nate Landwehr versus Morgan Charrier. Now, the first time I saw this fight get announced, I was like, this is going to be a really close fight. But then on recheck, I remembered that Nate Landwehr got grapple fucked by that Chinese guy at 310. UFC 310. 310. And then I'm like, Morgan Charrier is a good grappler. He is just a good grappler. He's a decent striker too with power. Nate Landwehr was a brawler. Always a fun fight. So, I was like, and then I rewatched their fights, and then I was like, you know what? Morgan Charrier is just a better fighter, is my conclusion. Not by much, but he is just a better fighter. And that's why I'm choosing Morgan Charrier to win. And you know what? I think he can knock him out on the feet, and I think he can grapple fuck him. I think he can do both, if he wanted to. But Nate Landwehr, he's a good fighter. He's always a fun scrapper. You know, it could go anywhere. Brawlers somehow always get popular in UFC. Like, not popular, but always manage to win fights. They should technically lose. But yeah. Yeah, moving on. Victor Petrino versus Austin Lane. I don't even have to tell you about this fight. Austin Lane, I think his only win in UFC is fucking that fucking big 6'9" fucking Taekwondo champion. It's that guy who couldn't grapple whatsoever. He got taken down and just didn't know what to do. Victor Petrino, as much as I don't know too much about him. I can faintly remember his last couple of fights. I didn't have to watch any tape on this guy. The minute I saw it made, I was like, if you can't beat Austin Lane, but you're not in UFC, you know what I mean? If you can't beat Austin Lane, you get cut. And that's what we learned with Despelis to Spain. Victor Petrino is winning this fight, and I don't have to give you an explanation on why telling you he is going to win this fight. I'm not going to tell you why. You can figure that out on your own. Moving on. Junior Tafa versus Tucker Turso. How do you say this name? Why is it such a weird fucking thing to say? Tokos. I'm saying Tokos, right? Junior Tafa is shit, but so is Tokos. So it's thingy. So then I'm gonna go with, right, who do I like most? You know what I mean? These are just fat heavyweight brawlers. And then I realised Tokos is English. So our English Chad is winning. You know, I don't have to give you an explanation. English fighters are class. And I won't hear any other backlash of that. Because our last event in London wasn't the best, you know what I mean? But like, our English Chad, Tokos, is winning. Moving on. Onto the prelim headliner of Chris Curtis and Max Griffin. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Chris Curtis actually shocked me versus Roman Kopylov. Because although he was clearly losing, he looked really good with his boxing hands and that. So I am choosing Chris Curtis. And Max Griffin, it's kind of like a layup. I see this fight as a layup for Chris Curtis. It's just something to give him a win, so he doesn't cry afterwards. But I'm not gonna lie to you, that like Chris Curtis has genuinely like surprised me with his like boxing in his last fight. He looked really fucking good. I remember like I'm at the end and I'm like, I get why you're kicking off of that stupid. I feel like the referee must have had something against him, because that was like literally a second and they ended the fight. You know what I mean? Just give it a second. You know. What the fuck? But yeah, I think Chris Curtis is getting this done, and if he loses this one, then I honestly think cut him from the UFC, because you know, this is one he should be winning. This is a fight he should be winning on paper. Yeah. So moving on. Now, I don't know with this one. Jake Matthews versus Giannaquani. I don't know. I've watched both fights, right? I've watched both fights. I think this could go either way. I'm slightly edging it towards Jake Matthews, purely on a technique basis, but I don't have any coins in my room at the moment to flip to sort of predict this fight. So, instead of that, I'm just going to go with Jake Matthews. Is there a coin in this room? There is a coin in the room. I forgot that I actually have like just a pile of pennies on the windowsill. Heads or tails? Heads can be Jake Matthews. Tails can be Giannaquani. That's how I'm doing shit now. You know. But yeah. Heads, Jake Matthews is winning the mythical coin, and I'm keeping it there for the women's fights too. Jake Matthews winning, he's just a better fighter, you know what I mean? 100% knew that, watched all of his fights, he's just so good, his boxing's class, you know. I'm joking, but like, the mythical coin said Jake Matthews is going to win, so I have to say Jake Matthews is going to win. Moving on to the next fight. Oh, it's a woman's fight! Of course there would be! Right, get the coin back out. Heads can be Lauren Murphy, and tails can be the other lass. Heads, Lauren Murphy's winning. Moving on. She's probably not. I'm looking at the record. I think it's going to be this last, but like, I don't care about these fights. Moving on. Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Volta Walker. Now, Volta Walker is literally just a striker, grappler even. I don't know why did striker come out. He's literally just a grappler, and I think Kennedy Nzechukwu is actually one of the better heavyweights because he moved up from light heavyweight to heavyweight, and he actually has like lighter man skill. That's just like heavyweight is so shit to where when you move up to a division, if you move like from down to up to that division, you'll probably just be instantly become champ. Obviously not because Tom Aspinall's there, but like if say if it was like still like, you know, say if it was like Francis Ngannou, you know what I mean? Like, avoid the shot. And yeah, because heavyweight is such a mess. It always has been a mess. It's never been good, you know. It would have been good if they just stripped John originally, but obviously they couldn't. John has pictures of Dana White in fishnets, probably. Something like that, you know. Maybe the one where he's bent over the car, you know. But yeah, I'm going to go check Kennedy Nzechukwu. I think he is pretty fucking good. But, and as well as that, I don't think either of these men are going to be used to fighting someone who's like literally the same height as each other. Like, look at this, 6'6", Volta Walker, 6'5" Nzechukwu. But Nzechukwu has literally got a 83-inch reach advantage. That is crazy. But yeah, I'm going to go with Kennedy Nzechukwu. Right, next fight, Ramara. Oh, fuck that. Mitch versus. Just take your time loading, mate. Mike Davis. Mike Davis, I don't know why I chose him against Zayam. There must have been something that I saw in that fight. But, yeah, Mike Davis. He actually did well against Zayam, to be fair. And that is exactly why I'm choosing him to win. He got grapple the fucked in his last fight. I don't know who that was against, I can't remember, but I remember this. Because there was Thiago Moises, it was Thiago Moises, and he got leg kick TKO. I know there were nasty leg kicks, but like, if you want to go somewhere in this sport, you can't be quitting to leg kicks. I've never seen anyone quit to leg kicks, you know what I mean? I know they were nasty, I know they were horrible, but you can't be quitting to leg kicks. So I think Mike Davis is going to win via grappling. But again, the heart there, it needs to be mentioned. Because if you fall into leg kicks, you know what I mean? You know, I know the calf kick's horrible, but we've seen people get like repeatedly calf kicked and still be fine. Jamal Hill, for example. You know what I mean? Surely you can too, you know what I mean? So I'm choosing Mike Davis purely on a wrestling basis, but as well as that, I feel like Mitch Ramirez, if anything doesn't go his way, he'll just kind of wilt. And yeah, I just see Mike Davis getting a decision, I guess. Yeah. Right, moving on to the next fight, which is the first fight of the card, and this is Fatima Klein versus Melissa Martinez. Whereas my coin heads is going to be Fatima Klein, Melissa is going to be Martinez. It says tails. I don't know if I agree with that, but it says Melissa's going to win. So I'm agree with the coin. Right, and I'm going to say something right now. This card is going to be probably one of the worst cards ever. So obviously we've got the two women's fights. But Mike Davis is a grappler. He's also a grappler. These two are going to be. I think these two is going to be great. That one will be great. That one will be a slugfest. This two might be a grappling fight. This two might be great. You know, I don't think it'll be that bad actually. Realistically, this will be kind of shit, and this should be over and around. So, yeah, 2 a.m. I want to die. So yeah, this card, I feel like this card is going to be horrible to watch. I'm really debating if I actually want to watch it, but yeah. But in conclusion, I'm choosing Martinez, Davis, Kennedy, Laura Murphy with a mythical coin, Jake Matthews with a mythical coin, Chris Curtis because he actually looked improved in his last fight against Roman Kopylov before the guy gave him an early stoppage. That was actually kind of fucked. Torkos, Petrino, Morgan Charrier, Steve Garcia, Gabriel Bonfirm, and Taliesin Teixeira. This could go either way. this could go either way. I can so see Teixeira getting caught because he's so long and can't defend the punches properly, but it is what it is. But comment your predictions, like the video, and yeah, subscribe.